Can you sell a property that's been stuck in the Los Angeles REIT program for 6 years? Most people, including most real estate agents, would probably say no. Well, I just did. Not only did we sell it, but we structured the transaction so that the investor received over $150,000 of money that was in the REIT escrow account. He also agreed to complete a second round of SCEP repairs after closing, and the seller avoided months of additional work and expense. Let me show you exactly how this deal came together. I'm Derrick Ruiz. I've been selling Los Angeles real estate, homes, and apartment buildings for 40 years. I've handled over 500 escrows, including properties with difficult tenants, REIT, SCEP, habitability issues, probate, trust sales, properties with tenants going through eviction, and many other complicated situations. This sale proves something that many owners don't realize. A property in REIT can still be sold. Now, when a property goes into REIT, generally what happens is there was either a tenant who filed a complaint with the city, or the LAHD did a periodic systematic code enforcement inspection. They come out to the building, they look at your units, they look at the exterior, the garages and everything. And if it's in bad shape, they will issue a report with things that you have to fix. If you don't fix them, at some point the property will go into REIT, and then the city will give the tenants the option of paying 50% of the rent to the landlord or to the escrow account for REIT. So it's a bad thing. You do not want to go into REIT. So when serious habitability issues don't get resolved, many owners feel trapped, especially seniors that don't have the wherewithal, the money, the knowledge to go find a contractor, get permits, et cetera, et cetera. So this property on 919th Avenue, Venice, a walk street, just a half a block to the Venice boardwalk, went into REIT 6 years ago. And the story that I heard was that the seller was having mental cognitive issues, and after a SCEP inspection showed that a huge wooden deck on the rear of the property was illegal and not to code, the city clamped down hard on him. And the story that I heard was a family member one day walked into his office and saw all these unopened envelopes from the city, and the property had gone into SCEP, and he had never opened any of the correspondence from the city. So if you own rental property in Los Angeles and you're dealing with SCEP, REIT, tenant issues, or rising costs, you're not alone, and you need to understand your options. I put together a landlord website and a landlord guide to SCEP and REIT inspections to walk you through all of your options. Go to derrickruiz.com, scroll down to start here, and choose your situation. Whether you want to sell an apartment building, you're dealing with SCEP inspections, REIT violations, you want to know about tenant laws and evictions, you want to know more about insurance and rising costs and what you can do, how to avoid habitability and liability risk. If you want to know more about the Section 8 lawsuits and stuff that's happening, go here. And if you want more information on rent control and tenant restrictions, check out this information on my website. Very helpful for landlords. And let's get back to the video. Anyways, he declined further. He got further behind. It went on for 6 years. And about a year ago, to make matters worse, one of his properties in Malibu burned down in the fires. So burned all the records, everything, leases, everything. So it was a big problem. These people, these clients of mine, they knew me from a past transaction. They knew that I know a lot about apartments and REIT and SCEP and habitability stuff. So one day she called me, she said, Derrick, we're throwing in the towel on this property. I can't deal with the REIT. I'm trying to take care of my partner here, and he's going downhill, and it's just too much. So I did an analysis of the property, I looked at all the information, and we put it on the market. So he just couldn't manage the property or navigate the city's requirements any longer. So anyways, again, the situation was getting bad. And to make matters worse, one of the tenants had sublet his unit to another tenant, and it without the seller's permission. So there was a violation there. The seller never made repairs to the property. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Anyways, I told him we're going to have to find a buyer that's going to take on the repairs. But the good news for the investor that bought it is all that accumulated REAP money in the escrow account would be transferred to him, the new buyer, the new owner, when the repairs were finished. So his actual net sales price wasn't $1,350,000. It was $1.2 million because he was getting $150 in REAP cash after the repairs were done. So we had a few complications because of the tenants, and it really was a very difficult situation dealing with these tenants too, because they were paying below market rent and they're always complaining to the seller, you never fix anything, and now we're in REAP and blah, blah, blah. Fortunately, again, I found a very, very, very smart, savvy investor who loves to buy REAP properties at a discount, get them all fixed up, flip them, keep them, whatever. So I found somebody that was really, really good. Thanks, Rob. The seller also had an attorney that was representing her on the Malibu fire property or something like that. But so the attorney was quite involved with this REAP sale. She actually helped a lot with the language on the disclosures and on the contract, dealing with the estoppels. This one tenant who illegally subletted his unit also claimed he had a first right of refusal to buy the property. But the attorneys determined, I believe, that because he broke his lease by illegally subletting his unit, the contract was null and void and we didn't have to deal with him. But I still got phone calls from him telling him, I got a first right of refusal, you got to send me the contract and stuff like that. So we just basically ignored him, I guess. And, we'll see what happens. I mean, anything could happen, but now it's closed, it's closed. So anyways, the result was the property sold for $1.35 million. The seller avoided another repair project. The buyer acquired a value-add investment. And so a good lesson for owners is not to assume that you must complete every repair before selling. Every situation is different, and creative deal structuring can produce solutions like this one. If you have any issues with your property, SCEP inspections, REAP, habitability issues, tenants complaining, you need to stay on top of those issues. Give me a call. I have a lot of experience, not only with dealing with SCEP inspections, but how to legally avoid SCEP inspections. I have a whole bunch of videos on my YouTube channel on how to legally refuse SCEP inspections. Believe me, you never want to let an inspector into your building. It is the worst possible thing. They're going to make you fix all these little things. And the worst part is when they come in and they find unpermitted structures, additions, repairs on your property. For example, one of my clients put in mini splits and had a wire 220 electrical service. Didn't get permits. Inspector came in, looked at the mini splits on a 1960s building. They were added after. And he goes, oh, did you get permits for that? No. There you go. He got written up for that. Again, another situation with this 919th Avenue Venice duplex. The previous owner put in a huge wooden deck. I mean, it was probably 800 square feet. And it was not done to permits. It was not done to code. Tear it out. That's why you don't want to let the city into your building. And you got to really be careful when you're doing, repairs that can get you in trouble. Sometimes the tenants will kind of narc to the city. Hey, my landlord is renting his garage out. He converted it, and then boom, you're busted. You're in trouble. Not only do you have to rip out the garage, but you're going to have to pay relocation fees to the tenant that was renting your garage. I had another client that hired a painter to paint her house, her triplex, and the guy was not EPA certified. He didn't do any asbestos testing or anything like that. Lead-based paint testing, not asbestos. Nothing. And then the tenants called the city, and they called out the seller and the contractor for doing repairs that weren't or sanding the property without testing first. So that was a whole rigmarole. So, as landlords, we all have to be extra careful about how we run our buildings, making sure that we don't fall behind in repairs and maintenance and stuff. Very, very important. So if you have any questions or you have any concerns with anything going on with your building, I don't care what it is, give me a call. I'm happy to help out, give you my advice. I don't charge for this. My job is to list and sell apartment buildings, but it's also to help landlords, because Lord knows we need help with the new regulations and everything the city throws at us. So anyways, it all worked out. Today's Wednesday, June 24th. We just closed. And you can download the MLS sheet down below this video. Just click the link and you can see all the photos and the description and everything. And it was a toughie, but that's what I specialize in, is tough deals. So if you got situations with your building and you are stuck, you don't know what to do or where to go, give me a call. There's no obligation. I'm happy to just help you, give you my advice. If you get a SCEP inspection notice, call me. I'll show you how to refuse it. I've been doing this for 40 years, especially in the West Side, Venice, Marina del Rey, West LA, all the West Side areas, or greater Los Angeles. Give me a call. I'm here to help. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.